Hey, Eric.
Hey John, how's it going?
It is going well. It is going well. Welcome back to Oregon.
Yeah, it's rained pretty good today. Even hailed a little bit.
I totally got caught in a little squall.
Yeah, it's like welcome back to Oregon. We were down at Disneyland for the first time in 4+ years, I guess.
Wow.
It had been a while, so I hadn't
Yeah.
seen some of the new ride. I hadn't seen Star Wars Land at all, so that was all new.
Yeah.
Um, it was a lot of fun. So
That's cool. I'm so jealous.
uh, daughter number one graduated from college. And that was what she wanted to do for a graduation. So we went down Saturday through Wednesday.
Okay.
And surprisingly, Saturday and Sunday were not as busy as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
That makes no sense to me.
It does not. I was confused by this. And I feel like I have heard that they're at full capacity, but we talked to some people and they've said that they're not, like some of the park people, is they still are not at what they consider full capacity. But
So they're letting in 10,000 people or 100,000 people, whatever they're claiming their capacity is at the moment. But pre-COVID, it might have been 150 or something.
I think it's slightly the opposite. They're letting in what they let in pre-COVID, but they feel like with some of the expanded lands, they can do even more.
Oh, interesting.
So I don't know what the story is, but it was, I've been to Disneyland, I don't know, probably more times than you can do on one hand, but maybe not quite, I don't need to add toes yet. But this was, I feel like, the busiest I've ever seen Disneyland.
Oh, wow.
So we usually try to go in the non-busy times, but I've heard over the last number of years, there are no non-busy times. So
pre-COVID, so let's see. So I went for our 25th anniversary in 2019. So that was just the summer before COVID. So I've been there more recently than you. But they had only just opened Star Wars and only had the first ride.
Smuggler's Run, I think, was the big one.
This sounds right.
Yeah.
And that was pretty busy. That was pretty busy because prior to that, most of the times that we've tried to go, my kids were in elementary school, and they had a teacher in service day or week, that would often happen in February, and it was not spring break. And so that was the week that we always tried to it did double duty. It got us out of Oregon during February, which is a good time to not be in Oregon sometimes, at least. And then, obviously, if you looked at I don't know, there's some websites that have, the attendance at Disneyland or Disney World. And it was in the nadir of the curve for those that week generally. So anyway, so we've always tried to do that, or we used to try to do that back when my kids were in elementary school, not in high school, I guess.
Right.
But now, alas, none of that.
Yeah.
But, so how was the new ride in Star Wars, and they didn't have any of the, they had a wall that had Stark Industries when I was there. They were building some stuff.
I guess first off, the new Star Wars ride, it's a Rise of the Resistance. And not trying not to give so much away, but just the scale of it was massive, and it was very interactive. And the ride, once you started, it kind of moved you from room to room, and there was a different part of the story that went along from room to room. And then there was the ride part, which combined elements of Star Tours, where you watch a video and you're seeing out the screen. You're in a Star Destroyer.
Okay.
And the Star Destroyer has windows, and you're seeing out into space at a scale which is mind-boggling. It is very, very well done. I assume they use those big new high-def projectors like you see at the Olympics, when they project things down on the ground, on the floor. They're popular at the Olympics.
Okay.
High definition. And similar to my Something Fun a while back, the Van Gogh exhibit
right. Okay.
that came to Portland, which was all his paintings projected on 30-foot high walls.
Uh-huh.
I mean, those quality of projectors made you feel like you were in outer space. I mean, it was...
Fooled the human eye.
Yes, it was fascinating. And it was all combined together where what was happening on the screen, or from your perspective, on the window outside, affected what happened on the inside. Something happens and it comes towards you, and then it goes from screen to actual thing in physical object in front of you. So it was extremely well done. We did it, I think, 5 times at various times during the day, and it changes. Anyways,
it's repeatable. Has replay
2
value.
thumbs up. Oh yes, very much so. Very much so.
All right.
Just overall well done, and that's the first time I think I've ever interacted with the Disney. What are they called? They're not called staff. They're
cast members.
Cast members. The cast members are actually part of, they are playing a part. They're not just saying how many in your party, 1 or 2, we have captured you. You are part of the resistance. We're going to send you to prison. And they're march, get off the ship, march, line up 2 by 2. How many are you? You go stand on this line. Remember your color, because your color designates your prison. All this. Extremely well done. I've probably spoken too much on that one, but that was fun. But
that's
overall, it was a lot of fun. Saturday and Sunday were hot. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday were not. It was overcast. Upper 60s, low 70s.
Oh, perfect.
So it was pleasant, but then it was also, like I said, extremely crowded. So, but it was fun. A fun week was had by all.
Oh, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're making me want to go to Disneyland.
Oh, and really quick, the Marvel campus. So they've got a bunch of stuff done at the Marvel campus now. The first big ride, aside from the Tower of Terror that got remade into Guardians of the Galaxy, also very well done. More fun than the Tower of Terror, I think, just from the visual and the story, the story you follow. But there's the new, what's it called? Web Slingers?
Okay.
I think that's what it is. It's a new ride where, if you're familiar with Toy Story Mania, you hop in this. It's on Pixar Pier. You kind of hop in this thing, and then you go and you're put in front of a screen, and then you use a device to shoot plates or shoot darts onto the video screen, and you score points, and you compete against the other people in your car.
Okay.
Or co-opetition.
Okay.
The Web Slingers is very similar, except it uses full motion capture, and imagine your Spider-Man flinging a web from your wrist. That forward motion that you flip, your arm forward.
Okay.
That's all you do to shoot your web. So you're basically shooting webs at the screen.
There's no mechanical triggers that you're pulling or anything like that.
No mechanical triggers. Games. And I would say it's definitely, you have to learn what the tricks are, because just flapping your arms around doesn't work. You have to make a very specific, you have to trick the motion capture to believe a certain motion has been done before it will trigger. But that was fun too. That was fun too. We did that one a couple times.
Have to trick the machine learning model.
Correct. Adversarial machine learning. But again, all well done. Great fun. Hyperspace Mountain. So it's not Space Mountain anymore. It's Hyperspace Mountain, and it's all Star Wars themed.
Okay.
The roller coaster is now incredible.
That was the case, actually.
Was it?
I feel like, yeah, we were there for that. And the roller coaster was the Incredicoaster.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember if the Tower of Terror had moved over or not. It's funny. I think it had, because I remember waiting in line and going to and doing that. But anyway, sorry. It's been a couple of years. Clearly, it didn't stick too much.
It was fun.
Anyway,
we enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, did I do anything exciting this weekend? A couple things. The first of which is I wound up spending both weekend days down in Corvallis. One for state band, so the Mountainside.
Nice.
Mountainside High School was in state for their wind ensemble, and they wound up taking third.
Nice.
And my son plays in that, and it was cool. It was fun to listen to the bands. They did amazing. The two bands that beat them were incredible. I mean, really all we listened to. I think we wound up listening to 8 or 10 bands total, and really all the kids were awesome. But it was kind of fun for us because I did, or my wife and I did our grad school at Oregon State University, and I lived. I keep saying we lived, and then I worked at Hewlett Packard for. So let's see, we were in Corvallis from 94 to 2000. So for 6 years, did grad school and then worked at HP for 4 or 5 years. So that's where it's where I had my first job right out of college. It's where we bought our first house. We got our first animals there, and blah blah blah. It was we have a lot of fond memories in Corvallis. Unfortunately, when I tried to go get sandwiches to oh man, I can go to the University Hero, which is the progenitor of Big Town Hero, which is the franchised version of it.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, yeah. No. So the founders of that. I think there's one down in Eugene across from University of Oregon too somewhere. But there's a the hole in the wall sandwich shop right across from the OSU campus, and I went there. I can't even tell you how many. You know how much I like sandwiches. Uncountable sandwiches were consumed in the years that we lived there. But they were closed. I even did the Google Maps thing, and they said they were open. I was like, oh, cool. That's what I'm going to do. And I get over there, and there's a white, handwritten sign on the door that says closed, Sunday. I was super disappointed. So whatever. I mean, not the end of the world. I wound up going to Jersey Mike's.
Anyway. And you were disappointed.
Well, the sandwich was fine. It was fine. I like Jersey Mike's. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that I had my heart set on hey, cool, it's open. I'm totally gonna go there. Anyway,
right.
But anyway, it was good fun, kind of driving around our old stomping grounds, and it's always weird going back to a town. And we've been back a few times, but we haven't really stayed there much. Really in 20 years. I mean, it's
right.
It's pretty crazy. Our first house is now worth quote unquote worth, 4 times as much. We owned it for 2 years and sold it for less than we bought it for, and it was not a great investment anyway, all this stuff. But we're looking at it going, that seems pretty crazy. But yeah, it is what it is. That's what, rose-colored glasses. Anyway, it was fun. It was a good weekend.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
All right. How about some security stuff? What'd you bring me?
All right. So I have not been paying much attention most of the week.
Oh, what are you, at Disneyland or something?
Various things. But I did see this one. I think I saw this one late last week, before we took off. But this is there's a white paper by a research group. And so the threat post article links to the actual full paper, but it is about how iPhones, even after they're turned off, keep certain wireless features, Bluetooth, NFC, or the new ultra wideband technologies, those chips, they keep them in low power mode. So technically on and running. So if you have a chip that processes incoming
wireless
bits of data,
signals,
incoming bits of data wirelessly, it is highly possible that flaws can be found. So I feel like it might be, it's like on the verge of being clickbaity, but the basic is the headline is your iPhones can be attacked even while they're turned off because there is no turning them off. It's simply
it's a battery powered device. You have to trust that the device has somehow. Is it a mechanical switch that disconnects the battery? If it's not a mechanical switch that disconnects the battery, which it's not, then by definition, something's on.
Yeah, exactly. So, so they went through, they showed a number of different potential attacks. That I don't think there were any actual exploits. They were just mostly pointing at the possibility and doing some proof of concepts on how that works. And right, so your phones go into low power mode, but the wireless chips are still on. I think you can think of this equally the same as the Apple's new AirTags, right? They're these little buttons that you can stick in backpacks or wherever, and they will transmit a wireless signal and help you find them. So your phone is effectively, when it's turned off, although I don't know anyone who actually turns their phone off. Most people just make the screen go blank and think it's off. You've turned your phone into a big AirTag effectively. And, they even state in the article that, for the most part, the iPhone is secure, and a lot of the reasons why they keep these chips on are for convenience, user convenience, and they're very convenient. And one of the other things they note in the article is the only way to solve the problem, as you stated up front, is to put in some kind of mechanical switch that disconnects the battery from those chips, from the rest of everything. So I thought it was an interesting article. The threat post link that we'll have kind of has the overview, but it links to the full paper if you want to read the gory details of what they did. So that's what I'm bringing you this week.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, no, I did not read this article. So my battery hardware switch was funny.
Yeah.
But I love it how Apple did not provide feedback on the issues raised by their findings. You think?
No.
Sorry. I don't know. The Bluetooth and UWB chips are hardwired to the secure enclave in the NFC chip. Since low power mode support is implemented in hardware, it cannot be removed by changing software components. But they can. Remember, I don't know. There was a vulnerability in the wireless controllers that could be exploited over the air. We talked about it. It was quite a while ago, I guess. I'm trying to remember that. I don't remember if it affected iPhones or Android models. Anyway.
Right.
Anyway, everything is software.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, you probably do want your phone to come on as soon as you push the battery.
Yeah.
Or push the button.
And I think Secure Enclave is an Intel-ism. Apple calls it the secure element, I believe.
Oh. I do remember reading that, and okay, maybe I got a little bit of integrated into the Intel thing when we were Intel back in the day. Fun. All right. Well, hey, I brought you a kind of a little bit of a fluffy piece at the beginning, but it kind of for your benefit because it's about passwords.
I know
that I know that passwords are your favorite.
Yes.
And then a sort of non-fluffy one. So the first one is some research by what was it? NordPass. Password manager about sorry. This article is on PC Gamer, and they use the word idiot and stupid a lot when referring to users. I don't really find that to be super useful, but
they're playing to their reader base, I would imagine.
Exactly. So whatever. But this is about. It says how a recent cybersecurity report shows how immensely idiotic many CEOs and business owners can be considering the strength of their chosen account passwords. Imagine trusting the livelihood of hundreds, even thousands of employees to someone who uses 1234566 or QWERTY as a password. And yeah. So they have, we've seen research in the past. Actually, Troy Hunt has put out research from
Have I Been Pwned?
Yeah. About like what passwords are commonly used and stuff like that. And okay, yeah. So the most commonly used passwords, but they did for this, they actually, they correlated the passwords in breaches. So it says the more recent research sample consists of 290 million cybersecurity data breaches around the globe and denotes the job level of those affected. So they could kind of correlate how many people with a high falutin job
falutin
use, the password Tiffany or Charlie or Michael or Jordan. Dragon is 11,926 of the, I guess 290 million. It says Tiffany was spotted 100,534 times. Then Charlie, then at 33,000. Michael at over 10,000, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, and it says that, what does it say? Turns out when it comes to CEOs and other high-ranking business execs, their password choices are much the same as the general public, although many often feature names. Very exciting. So, one of the kind of suggestions at the end of this, it's not a long article, but this is a good thing if you don't use a password manager, which Eric convinced me long ago, whoever that dude is, to start using a password manager. But, and so I'm all in. It's awesome. But if you do not use a password manager, doing something like stringing together words that will form a story in your head to help you remember it is really helpful. So this is the comment here is that Arguably, the strongest passwords are 3 random words, something you can make a story about in your head to help you remember. Imagine getting a password featuring a word combo like Sturgeon of Loathing, Obliging Aardvark, or Spellbound Falcon. It'll help you remember it. So,
well, yeah, like most things, there's an XKCD for that.
Yes, there is. XKCD. Oh, yeah, I had to use little Bobby tables recently.
Yeah.
To help explain something to you. So the article ends with a stat from a Verizon threat report, which says that most data breaches don't happen because of some profound cyber hacking initiative. Around 80% are down to dumb passwords. I'm paraphrasing the dumb passwords bit, but
right.
There you go.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. I remember this XKCD. Yes.
Correct horse battery staple.
Exactly. 4 random common words.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's the fluff. That's the fluff piece. Okay. Sturgeon of Loathing, Obliging Aardvark.
All right. The non-fluff piece is about. So this is a article. I'm confused as to when this came out, but the date on the article that this is on here was actually from last August, although it says it was updated in March, which I'm wondering if that's because, some disclosure stuff happened. Anyway, so this article it's called HTTP 2. The sequel is always worse. I don't know that I would go for that. Empire Strikes Back, right? Is that the exception that proves the rule?
Well, it's definitely not the Matrix movies.
No comment.
Or Bill and Ted. What are some other... Anyways. Yeah. Continue, my friend.
Continue. Okay. So this is an extremely long article and extremely detailed and extremely awesome. Uh-huh. So this is a... so he walks through a couple of exploits that are played against front-end servers that are downgrading HTTP 2 to HTTP 1.
Right.
So, anytime you've got somebody doing protocol translation, it is a ripe surface area. And oh my gracious, even just the first 2 examples here, which are the ones I kind of pulled out, are just beautiful. So they resulted in him getting at least, I think just for the first 2, it was like $27,000 in bug bounties. Right. Which is awesome. But he mentioned up in the top, he said, what did he say? He said, somewhere in the intro, he said that he had a list of websites. Oh yeah, my pipeline of websites with bug bounty programs.
Right.
So clear as a bounty hunter, I guess that's something that would make sense to have. And he also said that over 50% of the total bug bounty earnings was donated to local charities. Awesome. Cool. Mm-hmm. Good for you. You can also keep them, and I would be, well done. I totally believe in bug bounties. It's awesome. Okay, but let me talk about the first 2 of these. So there's a bunch more in here. You should totally go read this paper. It's awesome. But I'm just going to talk about the first 2. Mm-hmm. So the he calls these desync attacks. Let's see. So the first one is it says thanks to HTTP2's data frame length field. So HTTP2 is a binary protocol. HTTP1 is a text protocol.
Right.
So a lot of this is kind of tricking servers, like the front end servers that don't truly honor the spec for one reason or another, into passing something to the back end server that was unexpected or under the attacker's control. So for for example, this first one, the content length header is not required. However, the HTTP2 RFC states that this header is permitted provided it's correct. So for his first case study, he targeted Netflix.com, which used a front end that performed HTTP downgrading without verifying the content length. So he basically put in, post to, post HTTP 1.1, Netflix.com, content length 4. And then for the content, he just had ABCD. So those are the 4 bytes. And then a get /n HTTP 1.1.
Right.
Return header value, what he wanted to get. So, and since the front end server passed the correct content length to the back end, but didn't verify that the content length was correct for what was actually passed into the HTTP2 package, the back end server thought it got 2 requests. So
it's a buffer overflow for web HTTP requests.
Exactly. That's a good way to think about that. Yeah. So he was able to use the second part, the second request that was kind of the payload to redirect the victim's request to his server. So he said, by redirecting JavaScript includes, I could execute malicious JavaScript to compromise Netflix accounts, steal passwords, and credit card numbers. By running this attack in a loop, I could gradually compromise all active users of the site with no user interaction. This severity is typical for request smuggling. So, he says Netflix traced this vulnerability through Zool back to Netty, and it's now been patched and tracked as CVE 2021-21-295, and that Netflix gave him $20,000 for the maximum bug bounty. So, that's cool. The second one, so the RFC states, any message containing connection-specific header fields must be treated as malformed. I'm going to guess the server did not treat a connection-specific header field as malformed.
Must means maybe, right?
Yeah. So
if you feel like it.
I know I said to somebody the other day, actually I know who they were, but I said to somebody at work the other day, I'm like, I like reading specs. And they were like, are you nuts? I'm like, I don't know. There's just something about, the server should, the server must, the server. Anyway, it's there's, don't hate me. Okay. Anyway, so this is, so what do you use? So the header field he used is transfer encoding. And so he says, Amazon Web Services application load balancer failed to obey this line and accepted requests containing transfer encoding. This meant I could exploit almost every website using it, AWS ALB, which you might guess there's a number of websites using.
Yeah, probably lots.
Yeah. But so he said one vulnerable website was Verizon's law enforcement access portal.
Oops.
Which is a little ironic given some of the recent news about law enforcement portals at some of these big companies. But that's a different topic. So in this, he put a transfer encoding header and calling it chunked. And then the chunked header is ignored by the front end server, so it just passed it through, but it takes priority over the header that the front end inserts for content length. So that makes the back end, I'm quoting here, this makes the back end stop parsing the request body early and gives us the ability to redirect arbitrary users to my site. Mm-hmm. So essentially the same way, smuggling that second request in as a stowaway. Anyway, when I reported this, the triager requested further evidence I could cause harm. So I started redirecting live users and quickly found I was catching people in the middle of OAuth login flows, helpfully leaking their secret code via the referrer header. Verizon awarded a $7,000 bounty for this finding.
And got away easy, I think.
Very, 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 very. So this article was awesome. I'm sorry that I finished. I threw it into Slack, or I threw a link to this into Slack, a few days ago. But then I spent 15 minutes while you were getting all your notes together, reading this and going, "Ooh, this is awesome." So I heartily recommend the rest of this article. And he has a link to a YouTube video on there, but I haven't watched it yet. But I think I might have to. So anyway, that's my sort of non-fluffy piece for the week. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Pretty cool. All right. How about something fun?
All right. So what I have for fun, I have spent the last week overspending, overpaying on food.
Okay.
And so I found
the
world's most inconvenient convenience store.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I saw you throw this in
which I thought was Slack. Funny, right? So there is a convenience store that is almost 400 feet up, 120 meters up the side of a cliff. And it's the world's most inconvenient convenience store because it's just a small wooden box that hangs off the side of a mountain in a national park in China. And it provides refreshments for climbers who need to take a break in the middle of their climb. As they're climbing up the rocks, they can stop into this little box tacked to the side of the cliff and buy water. And they're not overcharging. Good for them. They're still only charging, 30 cents for a bottle of water. The rough equivalent there. But I thought that was funny.
That is so crazy. The picture is amazing.
Yes. So apparently this picture went viral on China's version of Twitter, Weibo, I think, and then made its way through the Great Firewall and ended up over here in the U.S. So fun stuff. I thought it's not a very long article. It's just a short blurb about the world's most inconvenient convenience store, which I thought was funny.
I picture, that makes me think of, I forget what they're called, the people that help Everest summiters up.
Sherpas,
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, there's these people coming to climb a cliff, but somebody's climbing up here every day as their job, just whipping up there, and so the Sherpas, right?
With 100 pounds of water strapped to their back so that they can sell it at 30 cents a piece.
I don't know, the picture of, all right, here's these other people. Yeah, they want to climb the mountain again. All right, well, hey, back up the mountain for me.
It's exactly.
It's just another day of work for some people and adventure of a lifetime for, I don't know, these.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, that makes me, it's funny what people can do.
And I had another something fun, but I think I might save it for another week because today was it's getting close to being fully functional. So
we'll wait for it. For it. All right.
There you go. That's my something fun.
All right. Did you click on my link?
I will click on it now.
Okay. Click on my link and then try that out. Have to scan down. They've got kind of a side-by-side sample.
Bionic Reading. Oh my goodness, it is noticeably easier. Faster. That's kind of cool.
Right? Okay.
Simply by bolding. All right, you're going to have to explain it now.
It's cool, right? So this is I saw this on Twitter. There's a link. It says Bionic Reading is a new method facilitating the reading process by guiding the eyes through text with artificial fixation points. As a result, the reader is only focusing on the highlighted initial letters and lets the brain center complete the word. In a digital world dominated by shallow forms of reading, Bionic Reading aims to encourage a more in-depth reading and understanding of written content. And they have a sample, so that's the little sample paragraph, and they've got the sample, and basically they pick like the first few important word or characters of each word, and it's bolded, and then they've got kind of side by side with it on and off, and it is totally faster and easier to read the side that has the what they call it, artificial fixation points, bolded. It's like a psychological mind trick.
Yeah, so a couple of things come to mind. Number one, how do they decide how many characters? Because I don't see an obvious algorithm for picking. Like, it's not like the first syllable.
I think it's like Huffman encoding, but maybe the inverse. Because I think they need like something that is like it's the smallest, and I haven't read the science about this yet. But it looks to me like it's the smallest number of letters that helps fix that word. So like highlighted, if they just did high, your brain would probably just go, oh, I know that word high. But by doing highlight, then it's more than just the high. You know what I mean? I don't know.
But I got bra and brain.
So that seems weird. That seems weird.
An initial.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think reading, forms. Yeah, there's probably something.
Yeah, I don't know how they're choosing the words, but I saw this, I read it, and I was like, oh, that is really cool.
And then the second thing that came to mind was, have you seen those? There was, I don't know if it was something fun, but where they take a paragraph and then they just mix up the letters of every word.
I have seen those. Yes.
And your brain just fixes it as you read. So after reading it a few times, you don't realize that the words are completely spelled wrong. Or, one where they repeat the words at the end of the sentence and on the next line, at the end of one line to the next. A lot of things that your brain just fills in gaps for, which is to another something fun we did a while back, or you did a while back, on the holes your brain fills in.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, all that kind of stuff is fascinating.
It's fascinating.
So this is cool.
It's very cool. Anyway, check it out.
To read about this more.
What is it? Bionic-reading.com. So it does look like they've got more. I didn't even scroll down the rest of the page. It sounds like they... Cicade or Cicade, I don't know how you pronounce that. That looks like maybe you can dial up or back how much gets highlighted, or with opacity. Anyway, it's kind of cool. So check it out. Bionic-reading.com. There you go. My something fun.
Well done.
Okay.
Well, awesome, John.
All right. Well, welcome back to Oregon. Good to have you back, and have a great week.
Thanks for saving the rain for me.
Oh, yeah, anytime. Plenty to go around here.
All righty. We'll see you. Bye.